This is tape 4 of an interview with Phillip Basch. Today's date is October 28th, 1996. What do you remember about the day you were liberated?
What I remember was May the 5th. And in the morning we realized something, that the SS, we were surrounded, the guards are like rats. They're running there and running here. We felt something. And the afternoon, we saw from the barracks a lot of parachutes. Some planes letting down parachutes for the first time in my life. And I was thinking something is gonna be happen. So 6 o'clock, around 6 o'clock, it was a Friday day, I remember, May the 5th, the American marched in at concentration camp in Gunskir. I wasn't able to walk out from that barrack. I was so weak because I felt I start to walk out from the barrack, and I schlepped myself to the highway around a mile. Maybe I'm gonna get something, food, because the American came with tanks and he was throwing for all, you know, for the settlers, they call it, for the people who was liberated, was throwing chocolate and conserves and this and this. Somebody threw for me also some chocolate, but I couldn't catch it because I don't have strength to catch it. Some people was in a good health, but I was very, 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 very weak. So I slept myself back Friday night in the barrack, and I was staying there during the night. The other day, American took the Germans, the SS, and they told them to take off my clothes and to wash me and they're preparing me because they're gonna take me to a hospital. And so they give me another pair of pants, but I didn't have the clothing all changed, but I have with myself only pair of tefillin, which I tried to save it, which I saved it along the whole time. So on Saturday morning, they put us in a truck. A lot of boys was weak. They took me to a hospital in Wels. They call it Wels, a city, Wels. The hospital was a big hospital with nuns, which not regular nurses, nuns. They didn't let you go in the hospital. We have to stay outside and to take off all my clothes and everything what I have on us, all the clothes, and to put them in one place, and they make a fire. And I was begging for the nun, this thing, you can burn everything from me, but this thing. So she let me off with the film. Then I went in the hospital, and they gave me some pajamas, which I recall, and there wasn't beds enough. So we were sleeping one of each on top, even in the lobby. Most probably, that's what the doctor told me, we have lice, almost plenty lice, but they took us to the bed, but still some people came in without bed, and one of the lice most probably bite me, and I got sickness. I got sick, and fleck typhus. Fleck typhus goes with terrible pain, headache, and like a rainbow on your body. And dizziness. Was very sick, but in that hospital about a week. And after a week, they took me to another hospital, which wasn't that much people. And that hospital was a little better because it wasn't so crowded. We've got a bed with 3 beds, a room with 3 beds or 4 beds. But still, they was bringing every day new boys and people, older people, who was a little older. The morning, which I saw him in the morning, I didn't see him at night. He died in the same day. Some people they bring in during the night, at night, and I saw him around 6 o'clock. They bring him in the hospital in the morning. I couldn't see him anymore in the bed. He was bringing down to the morgue. I was young, and I tried to survive somehow. I got fever, temperature every day. In the morning I got 101, noontime 102, and 103 in the afternoon. This went on for about 21 days. And the 21 day, that was the crisis on me if I survive or no. That night after 4. I remember one morning I got up and I want to go to the window to see a little, to see in the backyard of it. All of a sudden it blacked out on my eyes. I got blind. I didn't see anything. I started screaming and crying. Mayor, one of my friend, which he had already flag typhus, in the way walking, when we walked for 100 miles. He went through, but he came to the hospital for recovering. He was in the other room across my room, and he heard me that I screaming, Mayor, Mayor. He came and said, what's his Mayor? He came in, he asked me, what's his Philip? Official and Jewish. I said, listen, I am dying today. What are you talking? I'm dying, I'm blind, I don't see, I don't hear. You're not dying. Listen, you're going home, Meir Tzishem, you tell my mother was dead for a long time in my family, but I didn't know. That is, you tell my family I died this and this day. No way. Listen, Meir, since I'm in the hospital, every day what they give me to eat, I'm afraid to eating it, I'm saving it. The fear was on me always, even if you were liberated, but the fear, you're going to die for hungry. I was saving from the food, I put them under the bed, hiding it. And if it comes a time which they will not give you food, I'd go and take my food and enjoy this because I'm dying today. I start to ring the bell, and all the doctors with nurses came up. He surrounded my bed, and he called the Stabsarzt, he called the chief doctor from that department. He came up, and he looked at me, and he took a small flashlight, very thin flashlight, and he tried to open my eyes, and he lights in my eyes, and he says to the other doctors, I heard I was conscious, but I didn't see anything. He says, lebt noch, he's still alive. It all goes through my mind, but I was thinking, am I in that situation? And I was thinking, oh, angel of death, come, take me away. I saw so many people dying. Why don't you take me? I was waiting for you. And he started to punch me in with injections. And the whole day, they coming, going, I just heard everything, and still, same story, ja, lebt noch. And at night, around afternoon, I heard he said, the Stabsarzt said for the other doctors, if he survives this night, then he's gonna live. So they put me in with injections, and All of a sudden I fell asleep. In the morning, around 8 o'clock, all of a sudden it's light. Light. So I survived that night. Light. That means I survived. Doctors came and they looked at me. Oh, he told me in German, survive this night, then you're gonna live. After that, they bring me to eat. I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat. I couldn't walk. I was so weak that I went down to 38 kilogram. How do I know that I was 38 kilogram? One day came an inspection from American doctors, and about 5, 6 doctors, with the Germans together, and he was visiting the hospital, and he came in my room, and one of the American doctors looked at me and asked the nurse, why is he so weak? He said, he doesn't want to eat, throws away, he doesn't want to go down. Said, give an order, I take him down right now from the bed and take him to the sink. It was about 4 or 5 meters. They schlepped me on my feet 4 or 5 times. 6 times already I walked. And they give an order every day, 4, 5 times a day. They should take me off from the bed and walking with me. And from that day on, they did it with me about 4 or 5 times, and I start to get more strength. And I got so appetite that the food that they give me, the hospital on purpose didn't give me too much food, because otherwise I would die if I ate too much, you know, because my stomach was so thin, and so we were there, 3, 4 boys in the room, and how are we going to survive? We are so hungry. I couldn't sleep from hunger. For a normal man, it will be enough, the food that they give us, but I was after sickness, you know. So we were on the 3rd or the 4th floor, I can't remember. We decided we're going to make a rope from the sheets, and one of the boys or 2 boys were going, we let them down from the 3rd floor, and we're going to bring somewhere to the people, begging for some food. So I went down with one boy, and we went far away from this. We wouldn't go to the city, we went to the peasants, and 3, 4 places we had breakfast. They gave us another place they gave us a little ham and egg, ham, and I don't know whatever, and they give us some eggs, some flour, not flour, bread. So we have our hat sack full with. We came back to the hospital. We couldn't go in by the gate because so we went in the back, and we were screaming, and they let down this, and they bring up the food there, and I told them, take the food away from the room. I was feeling somebody will come and look for it. So we went to the gate. We came to the gate. What are you people doing outside? How did you go out? Because the hospital was very afraid we're going to spread with the that bacteria, the whole community, the whole city. And they took us to the guards there and to the doctors, and they started to question us. They came with us to the room, looking what we have and what we don't have. They didn't find anything. So they told us they were going to be punished, but we never were punished. But we had to eat. We have food for another 8, 10 days. And slow by slow, I got a little strength. I was 2 months there and 4 months, about 3 months. And then I went in the concentration, in the camp, in the camp where all the people was after the liberation.
For displaced persons.
Yeah, DP camp.
Do you know what the name of that camp was? or where it was?
It was in Wels, but I don't know how they came, you know.
What was it like
When,
there?
excuse me?
What was it like there in the DP camp for you?
DP camp, we didn't do almost nothing. They kept us to get a little strength and to prepare the transports to send me home. Soon as the people got a little stronger, then they went home. But most of the people didn't went home because it was occupied from the Russians. They didn't want to go home. We were notified that our parents is not anymore alive. Not anymore alive, but we didn't believe. I didn't believe anybody who told me that your parents, your mother and your brothers, until I went home. I said, I want to go home, I want to convince myself.
When did you go home?
I was liberated in May 5th. By the end of the year, December is January. By December, January, I went home. Yeah.
How did you travel?
How do I travel? I travel about 2 weeks. One train, you know, it was very hard because we have to go from the American zone to the Russian zone. And we have the bad experience when we went from the American to the Russian zone. We were in the train during the night, came of the Russian soldiers. And Russian, they start the white chas. We give down, everybody should give down the watches and money and everything, you know, like a hold-up they made. So they took away everything from us. They have the very bad experience.
What did you find when you got back to your hometown?
What I find, my brother who lives in Canada today, he never got married, he's a bachelor. The age of is 68 years old. He was a very young boy. He was old, I don't know, 18 or 19 years old. He was in Auschwitz with my mother together, and he survived. He was liberated from the Russian. Our house was destroyed, total. Only the 4 walls was there, you know. Didn't find any furniture, so I went to a cousin to stay with a cousin. That time, nobody, you know, we get together in 2 rooms, about 2, 3 families, not families because we were only singles, there wasn't families.
Was it from your brother you learned what happened to your mother and sister?
Yeah. And I stayed there in Sepinka. It was in Sepinka. I didn't have a house even where to live, so I went to a cousin. We lived with them together, and 2 girls or 3 girls prepared the food, and a couple of months, 2, 3 months, and then I saw it's nothing here because everybody was starting to disappear. They went back to Germany, to the DP camps in order to go out to the United States. No. In the meantime, I got married in 1946, and I said, 46 I got married. Also, my wife came home from the whole family perished, the father, mother, 2 brothers. A young girl from 17 years old. She was from Hungary, somehow related with me.
What was her name?
Alice. Schreiber, maiden name was Schreiber Alice. We got married in Sakmer, where I moved in Sakmer. The weddings that time, how it looks, don't ask, 10 people. Weddings was every day 15, 20 weddings because the boys were singles and girls were singles, and came home a lot of men who the wives didn't, who his family perished. So that time a lot of girls, 18, 19-year-old girls was marrying men from 40 years, 45, 42. And I lived there in Sakmer Then was born my elder daughter, my second daughter, and I tried to go away from Romanian, but they closed because they introduced this communism. You know, it took away everything. Everything took away.
How did you earn your living?
How earned my living? Because I sold everything which I had, my father's mill and this and this and this, whatever, you know, I could. It was very hard until 1948. In 1948, I went on a job for the communist. I went for a job. First of all, I didn't want to work Shabbos for them because I'm a Shabbos observer. And I went for a who's how do you call this? Who's watching something, you know, but for the government, like a guard, for a guard. I don't have to work anything. I went for a guard. I was there about a year or two, and then I realized I cannot make a living. I'm dying for, I don't have what to feed my family. I wrote a letter for my brother. In the meantime, my brother in 46, he left. He went to Hungary, you know, clandestine. He went from once until he had reached to Canada. I wrote him a letter and he sent me some medication which I can sell. Penicillin was in the beginning, and I sold it and I to make a living with it. 1948, I realized I cannot make a living because the communists give you for a month, you can live a week. But everybody was stealing, and I didn't have what to steal, because a guard doesn't have what to steal. Somebody was working in a store, he steal from there, but he couldn't. So I decided I'm going in business. I opened a store for the government, a clothing store. And that was until end of 65. This is another story, Romanian, to going through the communism and the time of Stalin. Everybody was afraid to talk to somebody or to go in the street. This is another story what they did with me. And my brother tried many times to send me papers from Canada. He didn't let me out. Then I applied for Israel. He didn't let me out. I applied for Belgium, for a cousin, sent me papers. He didn't let me out. In 1961, finally 1961, the communists come up with a story. We have your passport, but we have your passport. They showed me the passport, yes. No, very good. But you're not going to go until you're not giving down your dollars. Because we know that your father was a wealthy man, and you sold this and you bought dollars in your hair. I had dollars, that's the truth. 1946 when I bought some dollars. But in 1949 they introduced such a law, so strict, if they find somebody $1, he could go in jail for 3-4 years. So I give it for the bank, everything. So they took me into the police, and not only me, every Jew before they let him out. They took me in for questioning and torturing for 2 months. Torturing, give out the dollars.
So you were imprisoned?
It's not prison, but the police, you know. No. I wasn't indicted. Every Jew, before they left, they took him in there, and they torture him, he gave dollars. Some people had dollars. Some people torture him after 3-4 days torturing. He went with them to his house, and he, under the ground, he have give away everything which he put away. After 2 months, they saw that don't have. I said, I don't have. Then write down a letter for your brother to Canada to send us $10,000. Then you're going to go. Said I'm not riding. I'm not riding a ladder. And they tortured me, and after 2 months they let me out. This was in 61. And from 61 to 65, every year they took me in for 2-3 days for torturing. One time they broke me my ribs here. Always the dollars and the dollars. At the end of, my brother even tried some money to deposit in London for some through an organization. Maybe he can.
We're resuming now after a pause for some technical difficulties. You were saying that your brother tried to deposit money to help you get out of Romania. What happened?
Yes, my brother tried the best to get me out from there. He even deposited $2,000 during an organization in London with a lawyer somehow, but he didn't succeed. Finally, in 1965, in April, I think they finally let me out with passport, not a passport, some kind of paper, through Italy to go to Israel. So we fly out from Bucharest to Naples. And in Naples, they put us in a hotel, their family, me, my wife, and the 2 daughters. And after 3-4 days, one of the Sochnut from Israel, the delegates, came to me. Mr. Basch, you prepare yourself. We're flying tomorrow to Israel. I said to him, I don't want to go to Israel. I want to go to my brother, or to the United States. And he said, so listen, then you cannot stay here in the hotel. Can I stay in the hotel? I'm not going to stay in the hotel. After a day, they put me out from the hotel. On the street with the 2 kids. I didn't have any money. One of my cousins was also with us from Romania. He had some liquor, something we brought from Romania, and I sold it, and to make money of a trip to Rome from Naples. So I took my 2 kids and my wife. We went to the station there, the railway station, but I didn't know a word Italian. So I started talking to them, and to them, when a train is going, man. Finally, I find somebody who speaks a little German, and I told him I want to go to Rome. And when the train goes, he find out for me a train goes around 2 o'clock at night. And he helped me out. He bought me 4 tickets to Rome. We stayed in the station until 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, we took the train. We arrived in the morning around 6 o'clock in Rome. Rome arrived 6 o'clock in Rome. I don't have any money. I don't have anything. Where shall I go? Right.
We're coming to the end of this tape now. When we continue on the next tape, you'll tell me what happened.